ask you viewers, how many cars do you know that have been in the one family for 7 decades, unrestored, still driving?
Just because my dad was crazy looking after the car. He wasn't a mechanic, he wasn't mechanically minded really, but he could really look after his stuff. And that's what it was. And when I could see how he looked after it, I thought, hey, I can do the same. I can also take it and drive it the rest of my life.
Success. You know what feels the most exciting thing? Not wearing a seatbelt. I feel like I'm living life on the edge today.
Welcome, Stuart. It's the first time, isn't it? First time in my car.
First time in your car. How long have I known you? 20 years? More?
No, it's much
30
more.
years.
Much more, yeah, 30 years.
30 years. My first time in your car.
It's a nice thing for me to do.
Yeah.
It's almost like a reset button on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's just me and my car, and I think of my dad, and it's just really nice stuff.
I feel like a naughty boy not wearing a seatbelt. It feels. So this is a 1948.
48.
So, but it's been in your family
Since 1950, I think. My dad bought it second hand. I think he bought it in 1950. 7 years. And the nice thing, it's been workable or usable for 70 years.
Yeah. Fleetline Aerosedan.
That's right.
2-door. Now, at the time, this was the only car I think Chevy had on the market. They had the 2-door, the 4-door, the convertible, and a Woody and a station wagon sort of version. This design actually comes from 1941, before the war, or before the US got involved in the war. They made 100,000 of them between 41 and 42.
So many, 100,000.
But that's just before the war. Then the war came and all their production got put towards giving them to the troops. After the war, in 47, they started again. And they were making 200,000 a year of this car.
Wow.
So I think they made 700,000 plus. How good is this?
This was the one that was assembled in South Africa. That's why it's a right-hand drive.
Assembled in Port Elizabeth, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And I think in Australia we got them as well. They were assembled in Melbourne. But this one is a South African one. As we know, the 48-215 was Australian. That was the whole design leading to the FB and the FJ and all those cars. But I think these came in very briefly for a while before that.
Okay.
Before that. So you grew up, you 3 boys, you and your 2 brothers would have grown up in the backseat of this car.
Yeah, I was
Bounced
only,
around your whole
my
life.
dad bought it and I wasn't even born yet.
So all your childhood memories would be
Yeah, it's all in this car.
all in this car. Did you take your first girlfriend out in this car? Did you borrow it from your
I
dad?
don't think so. No, I had my own car. I wouldn't.
Dad wouldn't let it to you.
See Dad in this car because it's an old car then.
Yeah.
So we didn't like to sort of drive around in it.
I think that's an incredible story that you've managed to keep this car in original, unrestored condition for 70 years.
Yeah, it hasn't.
I knew Victor's dad. He was a lovely old bloke. Victor says he wore white cotton gloves when he went driving, and when the family went to the supermarket, he'd stay with the car to make sure nobody bumped into it. Now with 774,000 miles, or over 1.2 million Ks on the Odo, all that's been done is a respray in the original colour about 35 years ago, a top-end refurb of the motor at the same time, and some interior trim and headliner replaced. Hard to believe, but the bottom end of the motor and most of the interior, including the seats, are completely original.
Does that blinkers?
Well, these are the blinkers, but I also don't use them.
Oh, I'd love to get stopped by the cops and go, where are your seatbelts? That's 3 points, double demerit weekend.
Exactly.
Where are your blinkers? Failed to use indicators, 2 points, double demerits. You'd rack up $1,000 in fines before you even...
But officer, they were working when we left home.
We're not going to do any 0 to 100 performance testing on this car, are we? No. 3.5 litre straight six.
Yeah.
Slightly under square, so it's a long stroke motor, which should give it more torque, but whatever the torque is, I don't know. All they quoted was the horsepower, 90 horsepower. You know, I was surprised to see there's quite a lot of these cars in the United States, still on the road, but almost all of them. They've
been modified, and
but so many people have taken these. They put a 350 Chevy V8 in it.
They're not the original. They've been new parts and resto. Yeah.
And I also saw there were quite a few original ones totally rusted out.
Oh yes, you see a lot of them.
Would you ever sell it, Victor?
I don't think anybody's going to keep it going after me. Kids are not, smaller units, no parking space, where they're going to keep it. It's a lot of effort. People don't realize how much effort it is. Oh my goodness.
Tyres? Are tyres hard to find for this?
No, very easy.
Are they? I love the way it drives. It's beautiful. It's got a very nice ride. I'm sort of sliding off the side of the seat here. So this upholstery is original.
This is
70-year-old.
This is original. Not the sides, not the roof.
Yeah.
And this is original too.
That's unbelievable. Do you two brothers feel the same way about the car?
I don't think so.
You've got the
I tell them too, do you want the car? You can have it. Just look after it. There's no takers.
I think it's fantastic. Really do. Gearbox is good. Are you holding it in gear, or does it jump out of gear a little bit?
It jumps out when it's in second. Sometimes jumps out. So I've just got the habit of holding it.
Okay.
The 1948 Chev uses the same Blue Flame straight six engine that has powered the car right through the war years. A cast iron 216 cubes or 3.5 litres. A whopping 90 horsepower could propel it to a top speed of 80 miles an hour, maybe. Automatics weren't available until 1952. You got 3 on the tree with synchromesh. The drum brakes are hydraulic and on all 4 wheels. Suspension is pleasantly supple and quite comfortable. To the post-war modern nuclear family, whether they were in the USA, Canada, South Africa where this car was assembled, or Australia, cars like this one, together with very similar family sedans from Ford and Chrysler, were a ticket to mobility and freedom. Total production of this Fleetline series alone was over 1.4 million vehicles. In Australia, from 1948, these imported Chevys gave way to our own locally designed and built Holdens. Great products they were. But sadly we know how that ended in 2015. But this old Chevy soldiers on every Sunday. It's not really a car at all, is it? It's a family member.
Most of our viewers will be in the United States of America, and I know the wheel's on the wrong side. I could reverse the video like this. Now the wheel's on the right side. That confused you, didn't it? This is a valve radio. Does it take a while to warm up when it
it takes a while.
We've got some twisties here. How does she handle? Irrelevant.
Really beautiful.
How she handles is not a relevant question. Do you know what's really interesting? When this car was new, do you know what it cost in the United States? About $1,400.
Oh.
And the average annual salary was $2,900, so it cost about half a year's pay. And that's roughly equivalent today. It's just 30 times more these days. But the thing is, houses back then cost around $7,000. And now they're 100 times dearer in Australia. So the cost of the car versus your salary is relatively the same. But petrol cost 16 cents a gallon, 3 cents a litre.
Why didn't you keep your dad's car, Stuart?
My dad had a fantastic Jaguar that my mum loved, but then she spun it one day in the rain and was a bit spooked by that. So Dad immediately went and sold it. He got $300 for it, for a Mark II 3.4 Jaguar. The local mechanic bought it off him. He said, "Oh, no one wants these old cars, mate." $300. And even Mum went, "You're kidding." because he went and bought a Toyota Corona. We've all got the story about the car we should have kept.
Yeah.
You don't have that story because you kept it.
Sorry, I kept my car.
So tell me about one of your childhood memories of this car. Yeah, fantastic view there.
Maybe me and my brothers fighting about the back seat. Because Derek was always behind my dad, so he was behind me. That was his position. I always wanted that. I was behind my mum.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Andrew was in the middle. So that was just our positions in the car. And we always wanted to upgrade our positions, but we could never. I wanted to sit behind my dad.
You get a speedo that works. I get a clock. So I can
Does
time
it work?
I was going to time it from 0 to 100 using the clock. But does it have any heating? Heating and cooling?
No.
Okay. Really? You had to rug up. That's all.
See this here? That opens that little vent.
Oh, it's a vent. So when you pass away, Victor, next week or whenever it is, hopefully not next week, but you're pretty old, you know. Hopefully. Could be today.
It could be now.
Could be in the next 10
Can you grab
minutes.
the steering wheel?
No, mate, I'll be passing away with you when we get T-boned by
Exactly.
a taxi at the end of his shift. I'll be going with you, buddy. Who's going to look after the car then?
I think the first thing I'll do is sell it off and
So much
a couple of grand.
I'm enjoying it.
And like I said, yes, you enjoy it when it's all, shiny and going. But
I know.
once the battery goes flat, what do?
You change the battery.
No.
I'm not going to push start it. You know what I was really surprised is how light these cars are. They're only less than 1,450 kilos. I mean, I know it's only got 90 horsepower to drag it around, and it's made out of
Looks heavy, doesn't it?
It's solid. Oh, he jumped you. You could have dragged him off at the lights if you tried.
I didn't want him to jump in, but I can't do anything.
Original motor?
Original motor?
Original motor over 70 years. That's unbelievable. Pulls pretty well. Got some torque.
Yeah, no, it does pull really well. I'm back home. Thank you.
No, thank you.
See,
I'm just...
original, buddy.
Wow.
Get stuff to do.
I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the ambience for a while.
Enjoy the smells.
It does actually smell really nice. Well, there you are. That's inCARnation for today. Something quite different. Only a short review, but I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends. And above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out